Alright, finally we have something new to unbox. It seems like at least quarter of a year since we last had something to take out of a box. This is Thor Epic Collection, so let's crack the shell and make ourselves a trade paperback omelette. They have just gotten away with this cover. This one didn't need any real touching up or alterations. Well done. See, it's not the recolouring and remastering the original cover art that I am into. I do like seeing that though. But my problem with the other Epic Collections where they just have a cover without any care, let's just say care. These covers are designed for the front of a comic book issue. There is stuff that is taken into account with the layouts of the original art. Stuff like the title, the corner box, cover copy, and the last year's worth of Epic Collections have cheaped out by not really putting any thought or effort into the front covers the way they used to. And the thing is, I guarantee there will be bonuses included in this that are covers they have reworked for other trades. And they didn't use them. They just get some intern to force the original cover art to work on graphics software. Right, this is volume whatever from whenever. And it has 4 issues, 217 to 241, and a Hercules Man story from Marvel Premiere. I think the arm wrestling one. These are by Gerry Conway, mostly, and I didn't much care for them. The saving grace is we have artwork by Buscema, that is John Buscema's little brother. Even though the cover lists only AIM and Conman, there is lots of rich vulture art in here. There are our contents. We begin with issue 217. It is Anthony Hopkins against Thor. Straight away, let's do the paper. I am going to cut about 5 minutes of paper stock evaluation from this video. Suffice to say that overall, the paper is cheap. Double page splash as all Cosmic L breaks loose, and in the process all sorts of gutter loss. Gutter loss is like the part of the image that is missing in the binding. The solution to this is to break it up into 2 images and have a white bit down the middle. Look, here is Gerry Conway's Lame Duck Destroyer Droid ripoff. Gerry Conway did a lot of this in 4. Just introduced characters that were a poor man's copy of what came before. Gerry Conway is very much the poor man's Bronze Age writer. He's a poor man's Mark Wolfenstein. He's a poor man's Lenny Wen. Some more gutter loss on this page. My opinions on Gerry Conway are not at all related to his activity on Twitter. With that, I think he is just an hard man who needs putting in at home. I have done plenty of videos before about how he became editor-in-chief at Marvel, and he gave himself all the good books and fired people from those books so that he could have them. Then he got ousted after like 3 months, and he fucked off to DC and started creating loads of new things that are so blatantly rip-offs of things that he was pitched at Marvel. Nearly all of Gary Conman's DC work in the late 70s is just repurposing and copying other people's pictures to aim at Marvel. You might be the biggest Gary Conman fan in the world. I admit his Spider-Man stuff is alright, but he is a pretty rotten person, even without the benefit of Twitter allowing him to moan about how victimised he feels by the fact that he co-created The Punisher. Thor and Hercules, man, team up. They team up a lot in this run, actually. That's quite good. This is one of them covers that was the cover to another trade paperback. No good reason they didn't just reuse the already existing remastered cover for this issue. Classic fighting between the two gods. I definitely appreciate the art. There is some arm wrestling, but this is not the story I was referring to when I said that there was a Hercules man arm wrestling one. This is just excellent art. And there is the actual Destroyer droid, not the rip-off. And this issue looks like it is Hercules man versus the Destroyer droid. I am actually interested in reading this. I am being a bit jokey there. I am interested in reading all of this, I guess. We also have a lot of Firestorm too. First appearance of Firestorm, actually. I always think that he was earlier. I guess Firestorm is Gary Conman's major contribution to Thor, and that is with the addendum that Firestorm isn't that important as a Thor character, but did go on to have life elsewhere. The gutter loss is fucking terrible. There is Galactus Man, and there is a woman. Galactus Man's still wearing his short shorts. It's hard to take a world devourer seriously when he is dressed for the beach. Another double splash page, hurt by the book's binding. It's times like this I wish I was just a Marvel Masterpieces collector. We do have a lot of covers I see and I think, oh, that is a classic issue or a classic cover. Aaron, the Hungry Planet. Let's be honest, Gary Conman, he is just repeating Jack Quimby stories here. Not that there's really anything wrong with that. If you're going to copy something, at least copy something good. And those stories were good, so who cares? I think this video is mostly just pointing out double splash pages. There is the cover as featured on the front of this, issue 229. Rich Fulcher art here. The lighting has changed because I took a break to have a shit. And this one, we have a story where Thor and Hercules man gan up against the Dweller in the Darkness. A big deal Doctor Strange enemy. Early appearances of that bad guy. Maybe his first appearances. I feel like the Dweller in the Darkness is one of them characters that have a retroactive first appearance. Like there'll be a Golden Age comic where we're saying that something else was actually Dweller in the Darkness. Tom Hiddleston makes an appearance. One of my problems with Bronze Age 4 is that Amanda the Enchanter is like never in it. She is single-handedly the most compelling thing in Thor's mythology, and there was a good 10, 15 years when she just wasn't in Thor's book. First appearances. I usually like to point out first appearances, but you know, I am in trouble when I am pointing out the first appearance of Camo Fawn, the Possessor. This guy was in a Kazar two-parter, Kazar issues 47 and 48, Marky Mark J. That was also possibly still the last time that he ever appeared. Nice splash page there by Sal Buscema. I guess this isn't too bad a first appearance to note, but it is a character with an awful name, which makes it sound as bad as Camo Fawn, the Possessor. This is the first appearance of Seth. Seth is actually a fairly big deal in Tom Falcon 4 comics, and here is his first appearance. Not written by Gary Conman. And I was wrong, it is not the arm wrestling one. Here's some bonuses. And there's a pin-up, but where is Amanda the Enchanter? Outside that you've got to turn sideways, which I love doing, but I'm not going to do. And before we finish, I'm going to flip through again to see if they've included that remastered cover to issue 221. Oh, it's not looking hopeful. It's not included, but it definitely exists. It is not the case that there isn't enough room to include that bonus, because we have several pages that are just Thor's hammer to try and not offset the double splash pages. And this one is a different one, because the one I pointed out before had Galactus Man on this page. Well, he is on this page too, but that was the one I showed before. We are getting a good helping of Thor material in Epic Collections. The real big haul in Thor is the Simon Waltonson run, which they are obviously staying away from because it's already available quite readily. I think we need 3 more epics after this one to have a complete run all the way up until Simon Waltonson. I rate this thing that I have not read and only took out of a bit of packaging 7 thumbs up.